right, so we're gonna be starting the Let's Talk stream here in a minute, and while we're waiting for Freddie to show up, I'm just gonna continue on with the animation where I was previously in the day, kind of like right here. So I think what I'll do is go back and grab the character animation right about right here. Or is it right here? She's here somewhere. There she is. So definitely gonna have like a very confident look to her. Stop somewhere right here. Got some sandwiches right here. I'm gonna cover up my sandwiches. You know what? I'll use my phone. I'll cover up with my phone. Where does it end? Oh, it ends right there. Like that. So let's put her design somewhere right here. And I think what I want to do for her design, let's use the non-smooth first. I'm gonna do something kind of like, I'll just do it right here. Kind of like real, let's just do it like this, a pill head shape. Oh, okay. Like he's in. Yo, you made it.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Let me turn off some of all this music and noise. All right, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna switch over to the live stream, to the review stream screen. Let me save this. Okay, and we're back. Hello, everyone. I am Cartoons Closet Anime. You know what this is. Let's talk, where we review stuff and talk about just nerd crap all day and all that kind of stuff. So, Freddie, how you been? How you been, Freddie?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good, good. You can hear me pretty well?
Yeah, I wasn't sure which mic sounded the best. Let's see. You let me know real quick. I'm about to change it. Let's see. So that's one.
Okay, how does that one sound?
That sounds a lot clearer than what it just was.
Okay, let me try this last one.
What about this one?
Try it again.
Testing. Is that one better?
That sounds a little more muffled.
Okay, then let's try
this one.
That's pretty clear.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, what's the difference?
I can't tell the actual difference. One, I think, so there's three that are popping up. One's the webcam mic, one's my headset mic, and the other one is my boom mic. So
how am I coming through? Am I pretty clear? Does it sound all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let me try. I'm actually hearing you from my computer now. Let me see something. Can you hear that?
Yep. Wait, wait. Hold on. Do it again. No.
That's funny because she said when you said do it again, I clicked it, and she said, "I can hear you. Can you hear me?" And then you said no. That's perfect. That was so perfect. So you cannot hear that. Which I think that's where I need to go into my settings I think I have to do this every single time. Speaker mic through, I think it's USB. I think it is. You can still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. And can you hear that?
Nope.
No. Okay. Let me back it up. I need to just screenshot this and just keep it nearby so I can just have it. But I think ultimately speaker, I think the speaker and the microphone have to be the same.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, it's through the headset. And everything is clear. I'm clear and she's clear. There's no muffled or anything like that.
Nope.
Okay, well, perfect. All right, I think I found the I found what it is. I'm gonna leave this stuff on because I don't know how that's working over here. But anyways, all right, welcome back. So first, I want to start this off with I finished Overlord today. I finished all 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to give you my thought. You're caught up with the whole thing too, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to give you my thoughts and all that stuff. I'm finally done.
Okay.
Overlord. What can I say about it? It definitely was it was what I thought it was, and then it was more. I think that's the best way I can sum it up, in that I was like, man, it's gonna be this guy, he's overpowered. It's not an isekai. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's not really. He didn't die and go to another world. He just got stuck in this game world that he was in, which is okay. And then, but he's like stupid overpowered. Like, I guess him and his, remind me again, him and his guild are like adventurers. They were like overpowered to begin with.
Well, not to begin with. They became the like top guild. But they started like almost pretty much from the bottom, and they were always beat up on because they were all of the characters that made up the guild were of races that were monsters.
Yeah. Right.
And all of the humanoid characters would always want to PK them.
Okay. Because I'm getting that notion from the especially from this last season. It was really pushed. I guess I don't know if I just wasn't listening as much, but this last season was really about human species, animal species going out to conquer other tribes, getting them under his control. He's kind of been doing that, but it's been like behind the scenes. But now it's like, hey, I'm going to conquer you unless you bow before me. And that's pretty much every other episode. And so throughout the series, one of the things I do like about it, it kind of took me by surprise. He be killing folks. Like, he kills them and they stay dead.
They stay dead. Yeah.
I was like, you're surely you're not going to kill this person, because he's been a main character since, like, you helped him in the first season, like the 5th, 6th episode. You went out of your way to help him and all this kind of stuff, and you killed him. I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that. And then another guy, I guess it's like his friend. So I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to say the names, but another guy with who's also a swordsman, and it showed earlier on where he was like a coward. Like, he thought he was all that, but then he faced one of the minions. He was like, I'm out of here. This is too much for me. And I was like, oh, he's gonna be that guy. He's a coward. But then it turns out he had more character to him, and he was like more resolved with himself. The more he kept facing this crazy power, it was like, you know what? I'm okay with doing things my own way. I was like, there's this strong guy again. There's a strong girl again. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out like a boss or whatever. And he dies. I was like, what? Why did he have to die? He didn't have to die. And then there was one of the princes.
Oh yeah.
One of the princes seemed okay. The older brother seemed like he was okay. He's a jackass or whatever. He's gonna die. But then the younger one, he actually at the very end of the one of the episodes, it was like a war between the kingdom. He's like, I'm gonna come and decimate your entire kingdom. And then he was like, hey, can we talk about it? He's like, sure. And he's like, do you have to do this? Like, can we just surrender? He's like, no, I have to make a example out of you. Anything else? He's like, he's like, oh well, thanks, appreciate it. And he goes back, and then he dies. And I was like, is this Game of Thrones? This is Game of Thrones. It's like, I was kind of at first I was like, I don't like that guy, but then it was like, okay, he's actually a good moral character. He just wants to be a good king, and he dies. I was like. And then there was somebody else. There was these girls. That was actually early on in season 2, I think, when he was traveling as Momon.
Oh, and he was with a group of adventurers.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
That was the first time that happened. And I was like, I didn't really think about it too much, but he keeps referencing it later on. He thinks about the girl that was in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually brought her up in his last season and was like, oh yeah, I know this is something you wanted to do. This was your dream. It's like, too bad you had to die. And I was like, dang. I thought he forgot about that. I thought that was just a speck on his map. But no, he actually cared about those people.
Mm-hmm.
And
because remember, he cared so much about them that he was going to give I forgot her name. I think it started with a C. He said to her when the fight was getting ready to begin, he said, I was going to, basically give you a quick death, but for you now, it's going to be slow.
Yeah.
And he gave her a very slow and very painful death. Like he just bear hugged her slowly.
Like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
And she was like fighting on him.
Yep. And she was just beating on him, and
he was like, ha.
Yep. And you can see all of her pieces of her chainmail just falling off, just breaking and snapping, and she's just like ribs just cracking, and he's just hugging her in, and she's like wailing away, wailing and wailing. It's like, nah. Like, dang.
Yeah. That was so I guess what I'm going so let me get to this other. I'll give it that ending sentence here in a minute. But another thing that I kind of I kept trying to analyze as I was going, each season, what is each season giving me? What is different? And it was definitely still it was a continuous story. It was a build-up of him expanding his kingdom. He never was really in a bad spot. He was never really in a weak point. Because usually characters like that is like there's got to be some kind of growth or something, right? Mm-hmm. No, he's already there, and everything. He was always 2 steps ahead or something like that. There was those moments in his head. He's like, "What? I didn't think of that. Like, no,
yeah,
that wasn't me at all." And then he's like, "Yes, that's exactly what I was planning the whole time."
They're like, "Oh my goodness, Irons, you were thinking 5 steps ahead," and he's like, "No, not really."
There was one part. I think I forget what the guy's name is. The lizard dude.
Demierge,
yes. And it was just one of these last episodes of season 4, and he was like, "Sir, just how many steps ahead are you thinking?" And he was thinking about something else. He was like, 10,000? He's like, 10,000? He's like, 10,000? Are you serious? And he's like, no, something else. They believe anything. They go so far out of their way to twist it to make him look good.
Yes.
It was like, no, he's just testing you. He wanted you to think on your own. He already knew this.
It's like he was just guessing. Like he just said something just to get them out of the way, like just to like dismiss them from his presence. And they're like, no, it's all a test. Lord Momon, he was just trying to see if you could figure it out on your own.
Oh my gosh. So. Yeah. There was that part. That was funny. I love those little gags. Well, let me ask you this. It was something I remember you saying something about him being an undead but he has his own real personality, but it kept getting overridden or something. Is that when that green glow comes on?
Yes.
What is that exactly? Is he being overwritten to be more human or being overwritten to be more evil? What is that exactly?
So I wouldn't say evil, but he's being overwritten so that whatever emotional state that he's going through
Mhm.
is just basically to make him even kill, like
Okay,
just blah,
I didn't
really.
notice that.
And so like um the one of the female male one of the female counterparts, Albedo,
Mhm.
um you know, she's always being like sexually aggressive towards him,
Mhm.
and had he had been in his human state, that would have done something for him. But
Mhm.
then when he starts to do that, and like you will see like that shine happen, and
Mhm.
basically it just killing that excitement that he would have experienced, you know, with this very attractive fallen angel like trying to
Mhm.
seduce him. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, whew, I'm glad I got that under control. Like
Hmm. Yeah, I did notice that every time it happened was whenever he was like surprised. He's like, "What? No!" And it was like, "Ding!" And he was like, "Yes, I did
Mhm.
think of that after all." So that was interesting. I did like that. That was funny. Like I said, he was never in a bad spot. He was never in a way where it was like, "No, I'm gonna lose now." It was like he would recover, or he had that ace up his sleeve, and he would recover from it, or something like that. I was like, okay. So this is one of those where he's like overpowered, but it's not bad though. It's not
Yeah.
in a way where I'm bored,
Hmm.
because a lot of the times he wasn't doing the stuff himself. He would send his minions out to do it,
Yeah.
and they were all different. I love that they were different. One, Al, Al the girl,
Albedo.
Albedo,
Yep, she's a fallen angel.
and then it was Cacitus,
Koi Coyocatus. Some
yeah,
yeah,
the
and
Beetle
he's
dude.
a beetle.
And he was always like stoic, the stoic knight. I was like, sir, honorable, I will give you a quick death and all this kind of stuff. I was like, that's kind of cool.
And if you noticed, each of the each of his first tier subordinates, they call them he calls them the floor, they're like
Oh,
floor
Guardian.
bosses, right? The floor
Yeah.
guardians. Each of them are modeled directly from each of his peers.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes on to remember and recall certain things about his
Mhm.
peers, which they refer to, being, their creators. And so each of the floor guardians was created exclusively by one of his counterparts, like the actual players themselves
Right.
created each floor guardian. And
Right.
so they all exemplifies like certain aspects of the players themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that was an interesting aspect of the whole thing too. Because I thought about that sometimes. It's like, well, it's not these aren't his henchmen. They just are loyal to him because their actual bosses aren't there. And I
Mhm.
found myself thinking, it's like, what if you did find one of your friends there that actually really that was the true creator to one of these henchmen, these floor guardians? Would they start listening to them, or would they actually continue listening to him? Like, I wonder how that hierarchy would go. Um, there was a little scare on the last episode where there was a knight of the armor with like four weapons that was like hovering around him, and it was actually giving him a run for his money. But then you come to find out that in the episode, there was actually his doppelganger henchman dude, uh, fool something. I forget what it's called. The doppelganger dude that can that can shapeshift into him.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
That is his creation. He did
right.
create that character.
Yeah, and so I guess he uses it every now and then to kind of mimic him.
Mhm.
And in this aspect, it mimicked him in a fight, and I didn't, you don't know that. And
I was like, yo, he's actually losing a little bit. He's actually getting,
He's having a hard time.
yeah. And then at one point, he actually fell to his knees and was like, wait, just let me talk. I was like, that's so out of his character. And come to find out, it was the doppelganger. The whole I was like,
Pandora's actor.
Pandora's actor. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. If Pandora's actor, because he didn't lose, he was having a hard time. And even the armor, come to find out, it was somebody controlling the armor that it sounded like he was a player character, the way he was talking. But it was a dragon. But I was like, but it's a dragon though. That's weird. But anyways, he was saying it was like, actually, I lost. Technically, he was like, technically, I lost against him. And I was like, but that was the doppelganger. So if you were fighting the real Ainz, you would have been toast. So that made me feel a lot better. It was like my main character is getting, like, he's being a pushover all of a sudden. So I felt good about that. Going back a little bit, like I said, he killed a lot of characters. He killed one of the knight early on in the first season. That was his friend. I was like, but he's not going to kill him though, right? And he gave him an instant death. I was like, man, okay. But then he summoned these like hell beasts, like these hell goats, to kill this entire. No, first he killed like 70,000 dudes to summon. He sacrificed them to summon the hell beasts to kill more of them. I was like, that's like a Yu-Gi-Oh move that's just like, it's so effed up. It's so effed up. I was like, man, he is. I was like, is he an anti-hero? Like, is he really a hero? I think he's still a bad guy, right? Everything, he's just a really nice bad guy. If you look at it, really. It's like he's not doing anything good here except for giving them a chance to surrender. But
I mean, and that's why I like it, because you're looking at it and you're like, wait, hold on. He's murdering a lot of people. And then you start looking at some of the characters and you're like, oh, he's definitely going to take this guy under his wing. Like, there's no need for him to kill this character. He's so good. Wait.
Yeah.
He just killed him.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, now the guy that he just killed, his student, you know, he's not going to kill him. He's obviously going to have something, and he's going to redeem some traits or something, you know.
No.
Wait. No. Oh, God dang it. He killed him too. You know, okay, well, these thieves that came into his castle, you know, he set them up. Like, he wanted them to come into the castle, but then he approaches them like, how dare you storm my castle? It's like, wait, you set them up and then you're going to just... And then I'm like, oh, man. And then they give us a backstory for one of the characters, and it's how she went into this so-called temple for treasures to get money for her sisters. And then it shows her sister standing in the window looking out like they're like, you know, waiting for their sister to return. And I'm like, golly, what is this?
Yeah, that was another one. I was like, did he really kill her? Like, you feel sad for the characters. And I was like, he killed the girl. Like, they're waiting for the sister to come back, and they're just sitting there. It's so sad.
Yes. And you're like, well, he set them up though. It's not like they came and they're like, we don't care who's in this castle. And then like they stumbled across him and they're like, we don't care. We're still going to take your treasures. It's like, no, he enticed them to come in. He lured them in.
Yeah.
And then he had his minions all dispatch of them. Like, golly, like, this guy's wild.
Yeah. And a lot of the times his justification is like, I want to try out this spell I haven't done before. It's like, you just kill all these people because you want to do a test drive on your fancy new potion or something. It's like, man, that's messed up, man.
And it's cool how, you know, all of, even the maids, like most of them all kind of look humanoid.
Yeah.
But then you learn like none of the characters inside the domain are human, with the exception of one that she came later. And she joined as a maid because Sebus liked her essentially. And I don't know if you remember, he tempted Sebus, not tempted, he tested Sebus to see if he would kill her.
Yes, I remember her now because
Yep.
he found her in the house and she was getting beaten up on, and he, as a butler, he saved her, and then he tested her and was like, it's like, you have to kill her right now. And he went to go do the punch, and then the Beetle dude caught the punch and said, hey, did he give enough force to actually kill her? I was like, indeed he did, sir. And I was like, good. I wanted to make sure you would actually fulfill your servitude.
Yeah.
So she can stay. I was like,
yes.
Man, that's so manipulating. That is so manipulating.
Like, that is crazy. It's like, no. I want you to kill her. And then have the forethought to like gauge whether or not he was actually punching with enough strength to even, like, okay, I think this is a test, so I'm not gonna really punch her with that much strength. No, Master said, kill her. I'm just gonna punch her with everything I like, just full punch.
Yeah. Man.
Yep. So yeah, I like it. I mean, you got so all of the maids, you got one that's a slime. She just takes on a human form, but she's like a solution. That's her name. So she dissolves people. Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
That's the one with the blonde hair, the blonde locks. Yep. You see that?
Oh,
yeah.
That's the one where she took the guy inside her chest and it was like, and it was. I was wondering about her or what happened.
She's a slime. She's
right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she tempted him to, like, basically take advantage of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he went and grabbed her, she drug him in and dissolved him.
That's crazy, man. This show's it's like I don't know how to feel about it. It's definitely good material. It's definitely good for keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, they don't like humans. So it's interesting because they're talking about humans and they're denigrating humans, but Ainz is actually a human in real world, but he is now, in game as a skeleton. So it's I just like how just like unique it is. Albedo, she's a fallen angel. Shaltir is a vampire. Kyokius, he's an insect warrior. The twins, they're elves, dark elves.
Dark elves. Yep, I say that a couple times.
Demiurge, he's a demon, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then there's a couple of the other floor guardians that you rarely meet. One's like some kind of like floating embryo, and then another is a giant.
I know that one. Yeah, I remember the floating embryo one that comes. I think he kills it. He sacrifices it or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, if that's the same one. So there's some more. Yeah. So wait, is Sebus a floor guardian too?
No, he is a part of the he's the head of the maid unit, the seven, what are they? The seven Pleiades?
Oh, okay. Yeah. But the Pandora's actor is a floor guardian though, right?
Nope. Oh, he's not. Yeah, he's the guardian of the treasurer, I believe. Yep. He's supposed to guard the treasures.
Because these guys, because we see the ones you named off the most.
Yes.
We see these guys all the time.
-2. So there are 2 other guardians, but you rarely see them. And there's some kind of lore so if you read the manga, there's more lore behind the other guardians and why you rarely see them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to say what I really like about the series too is that they give attention to each one of these characters. Each one has their own couple of episodes, has their own thing that they're dealing with. They have their own relationship with the main character, and then they have their own relationship with each other. They have their own power sets as used. You see all their powers in some shape or form. He goes on the adventures with each one of them in different ways. I keep forgetting her name.
Albedo. Yeah.
Albedo.
Yeah.
She's definitely number 2.
Yep.
With Demiurge being like a close number 3, number 2-ish kind of, but he's definitely with all the planning and stuff. She's definitely like protect his dignity and powerhouse. Like she's definitely the number 2 there. And like I said, they all play their parts. They are very formidable, especially when he fights against what's her name again? The vampire?
Shaltir.
He fights against her. And by the end of the fight, he makes it clear. It's like, yeah, I knew what I was doing the whole time. I was just, testing out these spells and stuff or whatever. But it was a really good fight. It was like she was pushing him to the edge. So I'm wondering, like, if he had to fight against all these guys, if he would win. But he has such, like, I guess it's god tier magic. He can just do anything. He can stop time, insta kill, grab heart or whatever. He's like, it's like heart grab, kill. Yeah. To 2 dragons, like, I will never bow down to you. All right, and it just died. I was like, can he do that to anybody? And he had what was it? Was it stall death or something like that? Like stall insta death, and just touch you, and then and you just fall over. I'm like, this is too overpowered, man. But I like this. I like the way he goes about things in a very, hey man, I'll give you mercy as long as you listen to me. But then there's other things. It's like, you did this, you die now.
Yeah, there's no redemption. There's no
redemption.
Talking yourself out of this. There's nothing that you can give me that's going to, curb my wrath. Like,
right.
Yeah. It's already set.
Especially with the king, that prince, that really kind of hurt me a little bit too. And I love what he did. That was one of those moments. It was like, yes, because they killed him, and I was like, hey, we brought you his head here.
Yep.
And he's like, I just wanted to see I want to see his actual face just turn in disgust. But that's the thing I like about it, is like, you didn't have to see his face. You just knew, like, when he saw it, he just kind of was like, okay, all right, I won't kill you. I'll just send you to Necronus or whatever it was. It's like, send him to the Necronus guy. It's like, all right. They're like, thank you. You're such a great leader. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, that was awesome.
They go around the corner, and he was like, hey, Aura. It's like, no, yeah, don't kill them. Make them beg for it first, and then we'll kill them. And he's like, okay. And then he grabs on the hand, and then you see the close up, and it's like, and take your time doing it too. And it was like, whoa, that was one of the. You could tell he was angry then. So, all right. All in all, I say I definitely enjoyed it. I am definitely going to look forward to next seasons. It's on my radar now. Admittedly, though, it's still like not something I would have gone to without you telling me to go and watch it. But it's definitely up there. Like, if a season came out, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna put it in my queue, and I'm gonna get to watching it like everything else. Because it seems like there is a finite story going on here. It's not gonna, because he's gonna conquer everything, or he's gonna find somebody else to challenge him, and it's gonna come to an end. I can see an ending coming to it, because there's only so many kingdoms you can conquer, But at the same time, I'm here for the ride. I enjoy it. So yeah, I think that was it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah,
right.
And that's what I enjoy about Overlord is there's so many characters. All of them are interesting. They're enjoyable. But then you realize, like, man, they are a murdering bunch of human hating monsters. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and granted, they might have had, legit reasons for, having strong disdain for humans where they came from, right? From the
Mm-hmm.
game world, Idrisil. But it's like you're in a new world now, and it's like, no, whatever, Lord Eins Algown wants to take over, we're all for it. In fact, hey, you want to squash a few humans? Sure. Like, just point me in the direction. Uh, I remember season 1 when I was just trying to figure out like what was his actual like morality, like where he landed,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like on a good and evil scale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's saving this human village, like he's
Yeah.
keeping that village from being destroyed. He's
Mm-hmm.
got to be good. But then it's like he does like stuff, and you're like, wait, no, now he's bad. But then he does something, and he's avenging some adventurous death, so he's good. And then he's like torturing the person to death as they slowly struggle, and he's like, okay, well, that's kind of bad, I guess. I don't know. But then he's
Yeah.
like killing people indiscriminately. Okay, now he's bad. But then it's like you keep getting tugged in 2 different directions, and you're like, I have no idea what is his actual alignment with good and evil.
Yeah, man. It's definitely one of those. It's like, the question is always, how do you make a villain an interesting character to want to follow? Because yeah, you love to hate them, but you gotta root for them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And because if you don't like them at all, then why would you follow them? And I think they found a good balance in between the two somehow. He's not completely evil, but he sure does do some completely evil things.
Yes.
So that's fun. All right. So what do you have a taste for today? You want some more? Want to do some more anime manga reviews, or want to finish this Kendra review?
Yeah, we can finish that off.
All right. I think there was one more person in it anyway. Oh, can you hear that at all?
Mm-mm. Okay.
Yeah, I had to turn it up. There we go.
Okay, we got it. Glenn, can you hear me? Okay, I gotta go because I gotta host the show.
Yeah, I thought we got to the end of that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want this for everybody. I think finding a partner in life is amazing, but love always has to be first in the mirror. You should never be searching for love. You are love. And then what happens is you pray to be blessed enough to find someone that loves you the way you love yourself.
Oh, yeah. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna.
Nope, I don't mind.
Okay.
Messy house.
Is that a thing? I'm sorry. Here we go. Already. All right. So, you know what? This is perfect. You want to do the you want to do the thing? We'll kind of give it the our thoughts beforehand, or you want to just go right into it? What do you think?
So you mean like what she might, what her rundown of requirements might be, or what she qualifies for, or
predict and rundown? Because we both got it horribly wrong last time. So
yeah, the age was off. Now this one, I think we're gonna be right in the ballpark. Yo, I mean, cause like, look, if they tell me that that she's 30 this time, I'm gonna
no,
I'm gonna be very sad.
You can't be. No. At least 40, right? At least
that's what
40.
I'm thinking too. But man, like life happens hard to people sometimes.
I was gonna go even older than 4. I was gonna go. Is 50 too much?
I think I feel good with 40. I feel good with 40.
You
I'm
feel
gonna stay
good
with
with
40.
40?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with 40.
I'm gonna go like 45. I'm gonna cut the middle right there. 45.
Okay, she's definitely got kids.
How many you think?
2.
2.
Mm-hmm.
45. 2. You can't go wrong with 2. 2 is a good number.
2 is a good number.
Because 1 might be too little, 3 might be too many.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 45 with 3. Yeah, and yeah. I think that's about it. I think that's about what I can give it. I don't know if I want to go too much. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm looking at the hair, the outfit. You said the house was dirty. You said the house.
Yeah,
was
the
messy?
house was definitely cluttered.
Cluttered.
Like when she spun the camera around, it was just nothing but stuff all over the place. Like all over the place.
Here, I'm just gonna go back a little bit. I just want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
Show me the room. Oh.
Oh, see,
Okay.
there's at least 3 other people in there.
Oh. And she's talking to them. This ain't a one-on-one. This is she's talking to them in the camera. I don't know if that's a thing. That's not a problem, right? That's not a big problem. Okay. 50 might be too much. I'm gonna go 40. I'm gonna stick with 45 though. With 3.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
What?
I'm calling from Michigan, Warren, Michigan, a small city outside of Detroit. My sister wants to say hello.
Okay, so one of them is her sister.
It's about me.
That's funny. Why is a tooth missing though?
You sure it's a tooth missing and not just a gap? I think it's a gap.
You think it's a gap? That's a crazy gap right there right there though.
I mean, braces. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, but if not, that's okay. I'm still waiting on what God has for me. Amen.
What God has for me, for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
you were so close.
Give me that. It was only 1 off.
Yep.
One off. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So now here we go with the kids, though.
Okay.
I think you're gonna be. I think you're gonna be with
Because there was 3 people. Yep.
Yeah.
And now we know one was her sister.
I think I'm gonna miss this one. So all right.
I am unemployed right now.
Unemployed.
It's been a long time. I have postpartum.
Disability. Disability.
So you're dealing with disability? Yes. Okay. So are you not able to go back to work?
She don't wanna.
No one in Michigan will hire me simply because
You ain't been working forever.
your percentage that your heart works, and mine works at about 10%. I don't want nobody to take pity or sorrow for me because I stay
10%.
not let it get
What?
me down.
Hold on now.
Okay,
Hold on now. Hold on. Her
10%.
heart only allows for 10% operable capacity.
I did see there is a cut down. I noticed that earlier. Like there's a cut in between her chest right there. Like she might have had heart surgery. So
You know what though? Granted, I don't know anything about the medical procedures or medical diagnosis, right? But let's just follow down this rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
If her heart is that weak, is this really somebody you want to continue, like potentially jump into a serious committed relationship with?
Yeah. I mean, because if you can't work, and I'm not saying because you can't work, you can't do anything else, but when you think about a heart condition, I'm like, bro, can I even get you excited? Like, can you be excited without
Yeah.
dying?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how feasible, like you're saying, a relationship can be. But we'll let her, hopefully Kendra's gonna ask those questions.
I mean, she can't do any roller coaster rides. She can't do nothing high excitement. Nothing. I
Can't
mean,
surprise her with a cake on a,
yes,
on
you
a
better not
birthday.
jump from behind no door.
Surprise!
She's gone.
It's just not. I don't know. But I'm curious to see what she says though.
Yeah,
I'm curious
let's
to see
see.
what she says.
Let's see.
To get worked up for a heart transplant. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now do you receive disability? I do. You do. Okay. Well, I love that you are positive. I love that you are not letting this be a unfortunate sentence. You are
Maybe she doesn't have anything between her and her chest.
and going for your happiness. So
Maybe it's just a hair.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
And we're sending you nothing but prayers and well wishes.
Oh.
Have you found one or are you on a list? I am preparing for a list. It's a lot of upwork you have to do, a lot of testing, procedures, and the last thing I have to do is get checked out by a dentist. And then the committee will make their decision if it's yes or no. I lost almost over 100 pounds, Kendra, to get even started on
Yo, we're not doing another cash shop, are we?
So I'm just excited about that. I love it. And then
Somebody said, "Here comes the cash app."
21 years.
Now she does deserve the cash app before the other guy, right?
Yeah.
She did a sympathy cash app for that guy.
Our last stream. Yep, she did. And I'm just like, man, she's just just put her Kendra stamp of approval on this guy without knowing anything about this. This man could be like the next
Nothing.
Jeffrey Dahmer incarnate.
Dang, son, you going straight serial killer with it?
I mean, but we don't know, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
21 years? 21 years. Okay, so so you've been living through it. Yeah, I was diagnosed after I had my first and only child. She's 21 now.
Yeah.
First child.
Okay, well, isn't God good?
Okay. Her first and only child. Remember? So
She said,
this-
Twice. When did you get divorced last? The last time I got divorced was about 2003. And my second husband passed away in 2019. Oh, we're sorry to hear that. What happened? He had a stroke, a massive stroke.
how old was he?
Oh, 54, yes. Okay, I'm sorry that you went through that.
54. She's 44.
Okay. So we got Siobhan, Michigan.
But that was 5 years ago.
Currently unemployed, but she
Take
gave us
5
the
away.
reason
39.
why, very legitimate reason. 21-year-old Siobhan.
She was 39. He was 54.
mm-hmm.
That's 15 years. Right?
Yep.
Goodness.
I mean,
how do you feel about that? That's a good question to talk about tonight. How do you feel about the age gap for an older man? 15 years. I don't know if we talked about this already. 15 years to a woman.
so yeah, I think we might have lightly discussed it. I think it's a after certain age hurdles,
Mm-hmm.
the gap difference should be more allowable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a 14-year-old dating a 16-year-old. Okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But a 14-year-old dating an 18-year-old, no.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting kind of dicey now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but likewise, a 24-year-old dating a 28-year-old, you're like, no, that's not a big difference at all.
Right.
So I think like once you meet a certain like age step, like your window of difference can be widened.
So now let me throw a curveball in there. What about that genders? Does the gender make any difference for you? Whether it's a 24-year-old female to a 28-year-old male, or 24-year-old male and a 28-year-old female?
Utility wise or morality wise, or I mean, what morality?
I'm saying,
yeah.
Okay. So ideally, you would think, you know what? I'm going to give you the scenario. I'm going to give you scenarios. What if it was a 24-year-old man who is still kind of trying to find his way? Maybe he's working at I don't know, let's say $18 an hour job. It's not minimum wage, but it's just right above at some places, right? But he's dating he starts talking to and getting serious with a 35-year-old woman who maybe she's like 80K. She's doing pretty well for herself, and she has a little bit of room to do some dating. She's been around a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But she's doing all right. She's got her own car, her own job. She's educated and all kind of stuff. But here's this boy, 24-year-old, and he's not really all there, but he's kind of, he's got old busted beater, and kind of in school. He's probably in his second year of school because he started a little late. And, he doesn't have it all together. He has to do it himself, right? Mentally, he's there for the most part, but he's still kind of out and about. He's entertaining. He goes out every now and then and stuff like that. But her, maybe once in a while with her girls, but nothing really crazy. They meet each other, all right? Is that okay? You think they get a little serious? You think she's a predator on him because she's a little bit more established, or is he feeding off of her? Like, is he a victim to her more matured lifestyle? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Okay. So two things can be true at once.
Okay.
I'm open to the fact that they both could be slightly. It sounds kind of bad saying like they're both predatory, but I mean dating is somewhat kind of predatory in a sense, right? Like you see something. Well, think about it. You see something you want, right?
Okay.
You see something you want, and then now you go after it. That is what a predator does to a prey.
You got me thinking now. Continue. I'm going to look something up while you're doing that, while you're talking. What?
And so then you are now trying to see what this person can do for you, or what things they have that you would you would want from them. Now, I think when it's healthy in the sense where you're like, and I can do these things for you, like you want a reciprocal type relationship, and the person that you are pursuing wants to exchange that thing and give you something that you're seeking in return.
That's a relationship.
Yes.
That is what a relationship is. I mean, because think about it. If you are dating somebody, or let's just not even say dating. Let's just say you are in a courtship. You're just, I guess, a talking phase. You got the number. You got your number. Maybe there's some rendezvous here and there or whatever. Even if on a basic physical level, you are getting something out of being in a connection with them that you need or want, a want becoming a need. Like I want this, and now I need it from someone that is you. So therefore, that is you're giving something profitable in this situation. Because if you don't give me something profitable in the situation, there's no longer a need from you, and I don't want you anymore, right? Would you? And I'm saying this in a very vague way,
right? Very vague, very vague. And again, I think like so. I say predatory in a sense, like I'd say like that's like levels, kind of like prejudice is a level of racism, but racism obviously trumps being prejudice, but prejudice is like ground floor entry level. I think having that okay, for instance, it would be hard pressed for me to believe there's a guy that sees a very attractive woman, sees a very beautiful woman, he's interested or attracted to her, and then the first thing that comes in his mind is, ooh, I would like to get to know like more about her family or more about like her interest and hobbies.
What is her favorite food?
What's her favorite? No, he's wondering like, man, can I get that thing?
That thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That thing. Yeah.
That is the first initial reaction. And so, and then all of the other more important things come, if he's looking for something serious, like vetting out all the other things that I was listing. But the first thing is like, man, can I get that? I want that. Can I get it? That's, and likewise, from the other side of the aisle, women would be like, does he have nice shoes? Does he have a nice car? Does he stay in his own place? Does he own his own home? How much money does he make? And there's that little dance that the two do. How can I spend as little investment, or I don't want to get fleeced out of my money. I don't want to get taken advantage, get played. I don't want to be a mark and put too much resources into this thing and not get anything in return.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, she's doing this little dance. Like, I need him to commit to me because in commitment, I'm getting resources, but I don't want to be used for my body. Like, I'm not trying to, get pumped and dumped. Like I need him here. How long can I wait before I put out? Like, is there an amount of time that I can keep this guy to raise his level of interest before I give it to him? Because if I give it to him too soon, is he going to think I've always been giving it away this soon? If I wait too late, is he going to lose interest? Like, they're doing this little game tactics too. So
right. So with all that being said, age goes out the window. Like people are doing this subconsciously and consciously, right? Consciously, you make the effort to put the number in, make the call, do the communication, do the dance, you're doing these things consciously, but in the subconsciously, I mean, I think it's fair to say that we measure up. We measure the profit that we get out of the other person. And sometimes you can bring that to the forefront too. Be like, oh, girl, you so fine. Girl, you just take care of me. Girl, you cook me this. Like, you can say it out loud. But I think we understand that real measure is within us. It's like, without using words, you can read the room and know if somebody is feeling. That's like knowing that when some people have like I want to say a love-hate relationship, but like if you were like talking to somebody and you think you're just friends, like ha ha ha, and you turn around, your friend's like, yo, she's flirting with you. It's like, what? I didn't even get it. Because it's like people can read it. It's like, I think she likes me. I'm getting something from her where she's showing her interest, because you're thinking, like, you can feel those measurements happening You can feel the invitation happening without the words being said. And that's why people make their moves or whatever. It's like, you just know, man. You just know when you know. That's what they mean, because you're measuring. You know when it measures in your mind. So with that being said, bringing this all the way back to the age thing, do you think that all that is happening, and maybe that's the most prominent thing that's happening in these different age gap relationships, and not necessarily, oh, you too old for me, like you're 20 years too old? No, it's you bring something profitable to me that I need or I want, and without it, I am not as fulfilled without you bringing this thing to me.
Oh yeah, most
fair?
definitely. Yeah, that's definitely fair. Because if you look at from both genders, right? If it's an older woman or an older man, and you look at if they're dating like a big enough age gap difference, 10 years difference, and they're dating you know, as the older person, you're like, they are clearly with the younger person for that younger person's youth, for that younger person's experience, their energy. So it's like you attached to this younger person. It's like you're getting that energy, that youthful spirit. Like, oh, like you'll feel you'll feel a certain type of way, because it's like, I'm showing you like this good life. Yeah, I bet you've never been to this place before. Let me show you. Let me take you. And then it's like you getting to glean some of that energy off of them, seeing like the lights light up in their eyes because you took them to a place they've never been before, or you took them to do this activity that they've never done before. And it's like, yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm feeding off of this energy, this youthful spirit. Feels good. Well, guess what? That some people might say that's predatory, but likewise, this young person could be like, this person's paying for all my clothes. This person is taking care of my bills. I'm getting to go places that I never would have gone, you know, with other people my own peers my age would have never gone there as a 22, 24, 23-year-old. Would have never been in these circles or in these environments as a 23, 22, 24-year-old. Like, you have to be an established person to be able to even afford to live this kind of way. And so they are, some people might say, you are predatory for taking advantage of older people, because so at the end of the day, who really, like, they both could be doing the same thing. You know? I mean, let's think about it. Who was really like looking to be with Hugh Hefner? Like,
I mean, he got the money. I mean, he got the lifestyle. He got the comfortability. All you got to do is handle a couple of wrinkly balls. I mean, what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? You got to do that once a week, twice a week, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
there you go. So it's like, do you look at those type of dynamics and be like, man, Hugh Hefner is really taking advantage of these young women? Or do you look at the young women and say, oh man, they're really taking advantage of this old man? What if they both was okay with the arrangement? They were both okay with the situation.
And see, this is the ethical part of it that excuse me. Sorry. The ethical part of it, because I've really been doing a lot of papers and stuff and research and stuff on ethical and moral characteristics in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And when I start thinking about stuff like this, because I'm in SOS for when you make captain, if you want to become a major and become a commander one day, you have to go to squadron officer school. And in squadron officer school, they talk about a lot of these things, ethics and morals and stuff like that. And so just for context, moral is like the intrinsic right or wrong within yourself. You know, what do you consider right and wrong from your own experiences as individuals? Ethics is a little bit more broader scope. Is what is considered the right and wrongs within a community or a societal understanding. And that societal understanding for the military is the military. You know, what is the military deemed as the right or wrongs? And that's spelled out in all kinds of things in our AFIs, moral standards, conduct, stuff like that. And then, of course, there's always a balancing act between your morals and the ethical standards that you deal with every day. And hopefully, as long as those line up with each other, you're good. But when those conflict with each other, that's when you have things like when we had the shot. They administered a shot a couple years ago for the vaccine. There was a big uproar about where people were like, I'm not taking the shot morally because my morals from my religious or whatever their standpoints says, no, I'm not taking the shot. But ethically, you have to in order to stay in the military. So it was a big conflict, and you weren't deemed as wrong for it, but you couldn't stay in the military, right? That's one big situation to kind of spell this whole thing out. So now when you put this whole ethical and moral outlook onto this kind of dating thing, when you talk about predatory actions, profitability between each other, and morals, standards, all that kind of stuff, I will say that the military will say that the party that has the power is the party that's most responsible. When I think about it in this situation, when I start applying that, because it's a good standard, because most people, we're humans and we just do what feels right. So our morals change depending on the person, right? But when you start kind of laying it out like, okay, who is in the position of power here? And the position of power doesn't necessarily mean is who has the most age, but for the majority of the time it does, because the majority of the time the person with the age that's older has experienced more and should have more resources 9 times out of 10.
Oh, okay, all right. Now let's counter that for a moment.
Okay, I love that. Yes,
you got this really wealthy old man who's got a lot of money. You know, he invested well. He built up a nice real estate portfolio. He got out of, he stopped and retired, quit working at 55. So now he's 71 and he meets this very, very like drop dead gorgeous 23-year-old. Now he's got children. His children are like 26, 30, and 34. Like he's got his children is older than this girl. And he's in love. Like, I'm going to marry her. She's the love of my life. Like, marries her. She gets into the will. He has a heart attack, passes away, and then she decides none of his children deserve any of his financial estate. He didn't have anything, set aside. His
trust.
Everything was done right except for his afterlife. Like taken care of. No will, none of that. Like she just left everything. And then you find out like that was her end goal was the money. Like, would she then be the predator even though she had no money? Like, he was the one that was the morally higher, I guess, individual. But she was the one that seemed to go into the relationship like with ill intent, malicious intent, like all of that. Essentially, like the proverbial gold digger. Like she only would entertain this extremely old guy. She wasn't sexually attracted to him. Nothing. She just, once she heard that this man was ultra wealthy and he wanted her, she was okay with whatever it all came with.
Mm-hmm. I would say, if you ask me personally, I think it depends. It depends not on if she went into it with a predatory or evil mindset. I think that part is irrelevant. Personally, it's irrelevant because, excuse me, it's irrelevant because of the answer itself. The answer is if she did everything legally, and so that's the first part. If everything's legal,
Everything is
paperwork-wise and all
legal.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Because she can't do anything without the legal paperwork. She can't attack without the avenue to attack being there in the first place, which it was. So that's part one of my answer. And part two is morally, I think if she had ill intent, if she went out of her way to do all the things that he required to be his wife, whether she wanted to or not, but she still did it, some would say that's love. Some would say that's love. And in any other context, if you look at a husband and wife that fight all the time, but she still gets up and makes him a breakfast every day, and she's like, "Here you go, you old buzzard," and she makes him breakfast. That's love. I can't
Okay. Well,
you know?
now, okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So then, why would it be predatory, or why would it be of low moral if the really old wealthy man saw this struggling 25-year-old, and she's like, chatting with him at a little coffee shop, and she's telling him about her woes, and he's like, "Hey, look, that doesn't matter. I got plenty of room in my mansion. Just come move in with me. I got empty spaces. My children are all grown. I'm alone. I'm widowed, or I'm divorced. Just, until you can get back on your feet." He moves her in, and then he starts paying for all of her stuff. She's enjoying it. Yep. She's getting gifts, all her bills paid, a roof over her head. She doesn't have to worry for nothing.
Yeah.
And then, one night he's like, "Hey, come over here and drink with me." Drinking, and he's like, "Hey," she tries to make a move. She's like, "Oh no, I thought we were friends." And he's like, "Hey, all this stuff I'm doing for you, you thought like this is like just friendly kind of stuff? Like, look here. Yeah. It's cool. You don't want to go this way, that's fine. I'll just let you go back to where you came from, and that vehicle that you got outside, and your school, college tuition. Look, this is your last semester for me. It's all good. We're friends, right?"
Is that bad? You're asking me if that bad? Because he pulled out once he realized that it was a different situation than what he thought, right? And she didn't want it. She was being friendly.
But now she feels like she has to. They're always gonna say, like, I had to do these kind of things because it's for the things that I've been given.
And then if she continues and he continues, and she didn't want it, and then you turn around, it ends, and then she comes out 20 years later. "He took advantage of me, and he did these things to me, and I didn't want to do it." And then she got the degree, but now he has to go to jail or something like that because he abused her or assaulted her or something.
He took advantage of her situation. But it's like, did he? Because he gave the things up front, right? You might call it bait. He baited it. And then when she bit, he was like, "Okay, now I want this other thing. And if I don't get this other thing, I'm going to take this away from you again." And now she has free will. Look, go back to the projects. Go back to your barista job. Struggle. Go back to, paying your $300, $500 a semester hours on your own.
Oof. It's hefty.
And you're not doing anything that compromises your own values. But if you do decide that you want what he's presenting and you're doing things that you wouldn't want other people to know you're doing, is that not free will?
That is free will. And I just want to throw in perspective too. What you just explained, I was thinking in my head, along with what you're saying, that scenario, everything you were saying is no different than a relationship. It's no, you were saying it. I was like, hey, he offered this thing to you and he wants this in return. And you have free will to give that to him or not. You're not being pressured to do it. That sounds like a relationship. You can leave whenever you want.
You can leave whenever you want.
He wants that. You want this. Y'all have this thing. That's a relationship. But in that scenario you're talking about, though, that's just a more direct way, and that's a more materialistic way, more materialistic thing that they're dealing with, MacGuffin, if you will, that they're dealing with. It's not the love me, sick and poor kind of thing, support me. It's more like, hey, pay for my stuff. You know what it sounds like?
Hey.
As soon as I was saying it, and as soon as I started saying it, it kind of hit me. It was like, she sounds like work for hire.
Work for hire.
In a very explicit kind of way. But see, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. Look, and everybody always, I've heard this a lot. Every relationship is different. Everybody's relationship is different. What they want is different, you know. And I keep thinking of not Family Guy, American Dad. I don't know if you watched American Dad.
I watched it. Yeah, I watched.
There was one episode in one of the mid seasons where I think Francine, she feels like Stan just loves her for her beauty because she's fine or whatever in the show, right? So she starts letting her hair go. She stops going to the gym. She stops getting her teeth done. All this kind of just like she's fat and her teeth are jacked up and her hair is raggedy, and she wants to renew her vows. And she comes there like that. And he's like, you a fat pig. I don't want that. He's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not financing any of your stuff anymore. She's like, what? Well, that's why I like you. That's why I love you, because you always take care of me. I was like, well, I love you because you look fine as hell. And it was like, wait a minute, this is why we like each other, right? Then why don't we stop doing that? You give me money and I'll look good for you. I was like, you look good for me, I'll give you money. And they started doing it. It was like, that was the end of the episode. They went back to that. And I was like, that's so real, though. That's so real. Sometimes it might feel like you're selling out, like you're selling yourself to be, I don't know what you call a streetwalker. You're not a streetwalker necessarily. It's just, we want different things from each other. Yes, we want that. I think on the base level, we all want the primordial things. I said this earlier this week. Every living thing wants the primordial things. We want to eat. We want to sleep. We want entertainment. We want to be comfortable, and we want love, physically and emotionally. I think
the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's exactly what you're explaining. The Maslow, and there's a pyramid. So the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you find that, it's your hierarchy goes at the very base of it, your needs, your physiological needs. So the need for air, food, water, and health. And then right above it is safety. So once you've secured your food or some water, you know, your physical health. Now you're looking for safety, the need for safety, shelter, and stability. And then right over that is social. So now you've got food, you got water, you're safe. Now social, you need some type of social interaction or you're going to go crazy. So the need for love, belonging, inclusion. Then the fourth is ego.
Ego.
That's the need for self-esteem, power, control, recognition.
Really? That's a thing? I wouldn't even thought of that. That's a good one. Okay.
And then at the very top of that, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is self-actualization. And that's the need for development, creativity, and growth.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so I think I don't remember my exact train of thought, but what I was saying though is like everybody has the relationship. Everybody has a certain basic needs. Everything you just kind of went off on just now. That's what we want out of a relationship. Give me something out of those needs that I need, you know, like out of that list, make me feel comfortable in these areas. Number one, especially the social part, because if I'm doing all this by myself, what are you bringing to this that's going to make it better? And then all the other stuff on top of the physical. I mean, without getting into all the explicit stuff, like men want women, and I'm talking about the general public. I'm not talking about the alternative lifestyle stuff. I mean, there's always exceptions.
Always except, yeah.
But we want the opposite gender, and we want it to be good. And I'm sure that's what women want from men. They want the opposite gender. They want it for their reasons. I don't like men, so I don't know why I don't understand why women like men. Personally, I look at it and I'm like, man, I am lucky that women find me somewhat easy to talk to, somewhat want to talk to me at all, because I wouldn't want to talk to me, you know. But my point is, you know, it's a transaction. No matter how you look at it, are you getting what you want out of it, and are you giving what they want out of it?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's an even exchange, or if it's at least 90, no, here it is, 80-20.
80-20 rule. Yeah.
80-20. If I can get at least 80% of what I want out of this deal, I can deal with the other 20% that I don't want, that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and that's a win.
That's a win. Yeah.
You know, and I don't think age has to do with it. I think, well, so here we go.
To a degree.
To me, I think it does. I'm gonna say it does. Especially, I'm curious what you think. I think for men, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, I think, and being with a woman 15 years, because in this situation, we're talking about 15 years, the man is older. It's always seemed like the man is older. But I know me personally, I couldn't seriously date a woman that's 15 years older than myself.
Yeah.
Could I have fun with it? Sure. Because I'm sure there's something that I can learn from it or get from it that's like interesting. It's like, oh wow, you're showing me things I've never seen before. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But especially if you were younger, if you're a male in your 20s and you're dating somebody that's 15 years older than you, even 10 years older than you, then I think there's a lot you can learn, a lot you can help you grow through. But I think it because I think about the physical part, like getting older. It's like once you hit a certain age of getting older, I mean, because at different levels it starts breaking down a little bit more, and you start hitting those different physical stages of life where it's like you start moving different, you start wanting different things physically and stuff. You start performing differently, and I'm talking about like just moving around, sports, or just energy level, all that kind of stuff. Yep. You're not evenly yoked, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But then not even talking about wanting a family. That's a whole different monkey. But if you go in there wanting a family, it can be tough. I think tougher on a woman that's older, because there's a timeline that the body is able to have kids, versus a man. He can be much older and she be younger, and you working off of her timeline, not yours. You know,
And they always try to use, like, I've heard the rebuttal. Well, men have a biological clock too. Yes, they do, but they don't have the burden of ever having to carry the child to full term.
yeah,
If you're talking about his swimmers, yeah, maybe a few are going to be um the child would be at a higher risk of having health defects as the man gets older. The child could potentially have some type of health complications themselves. But from the standpoint of, all he's just got to do is just shoot the club up. Like, that's it. Like, she, as an older woman, has to now, like, nurture and have this being growing in her, like taking resources from her and taxing the body. Like, organs are being rearranged and pushed to keep this small human growing. And then she's got to birth it, or she's got to go through a C-section. Like, somehow this child has to get out. So
yeah.
is she gonna make it on the table? Like, those are drastically two different things. An older man having a child later in life, and then an older woman having a child later in life. Those are nowhere near a close comparison. Nowhere near.
So what about with here's a question for you. Do you think a man that is younger can ever have, or does he always intrinsically have power over an older woman that he's dating?
Could he? Yes. There's situations where he could. You know, there's the companionship aspect.
Well, before you continue, I want to make sure I'm iterating what I mean is, in this context that we're talking about, having the person in power, the person in dominant power, like I was saying, because when it comes to the rank, you having power over a subordinate is considered, you're always in the wrong. So
right.
Do you think that is still the situation, even being the younger man, that he's always still having that power of dominance, and that therefore he is responsible regardless of the age difference?
So I think all right, for example, military. I think that it makes sense why the default is whomever has the higher rank is the one that's more culpable. But I think each situation should be taken individually on case-by-case basis. That way, more context is given to the situation. I mean, look, it's easy to just say, all right, which of you two is the highest rank? Okay, then you're at fault. And it's like, whoa, you don't even know the situation. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And so I think that's equally the same with the age gap situation. You need more context before you're able to draw an actual final conclusion. I want to say like an equitable, but I'd say something that's more morally, no. To judge correctly the situation, you need to have all of the details of that situation. So yes, could the cougar be taking advantage of this young guy? He definitely could be. But I think you could equally say that the young guy, even though he doesn't have any money, he has his youth, he has his looks, he has a nice body, a nice physique. Maybe he knows that older women love, nice muscle bound young men. And and you know, maybe she's like, oh, I don't want to date, you know, 50-year-old guys because they always wanting to pop pills before we go to the bedroom, and you know, it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel organic. And you know, they always say like that older women go into like their sexual prime like later in life or whatever. I haven't looked too much into that, but I'm gonna just, for the argument, use that statement. Well, she doesn't want a guy that's having to, you know, use supplements to engage in grown-up activities. But this young guy that's just oozing with testosterone, he's just bursting at the seams. Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, hey, you need a young buck?
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
You got an itch that needs scratching.
Okay. Yeah, this is what I think about these things when I think about 15 years older. When he was 30, she was 15.
Yep.
I mean, at that point, obviously, right? But then
Yep.
when she was 20, he was 35.
That's why I say I think it should be stepped by age. Like, okay, at 14, do 2 up, 1 down.
Yeah.
Then at 16, 3 up, you know, 2 down. Like, and then at 18, like, there's a mathematical step, you know, that of decreasing, increasing numbers. Because look, at 60, could you say that it's like immoral or
unethical
as for a 80-year-old to be dating a 60-year-old?
Probably not. Wait. It depends. It depends on how capable that 80-year-old is, or the 80, because again, it lies with the 80-year-old being older, but then if they're not capable of even handling themselves, that 60-year-old could be taking advantage of that 80-year-old for their feebleness, just waiting for them to croak.
What if we had elven life expectancy and there's a 500-year-old that's dating a 400-year-old?
So I'll be honest with you, I think that changes everything. When you start expanding lifespans beyond the average high age of 80, I think you start playing with dynamics of non-monogamy and other aspects. Because if you knew you were living that long, that you could live that long, I don't think people would be so quick to settle down as quickly, because you only have but so many years to make a kid, to have that life, to make your career and all that kind of stuff. Not even just the life expectancy, but also the cultivation of industry just in general.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have to work as hard to have the resources you need to live every day, you wouldn't need to spend so much time and resources on getting those resources. You could just live your days in ecstasy and ambrosia all the time. So that's why I think our lifespans and our relationships are so skewed, is because all these things are affecting it. It's like, okay, I got to find somebody and I got to have my own stuff. They got to have their own stuff. And then we have, maybe if we're good, at 20 years old, maybe we might have a good 50 years. But if I got 400 years and I can use magic and fly, I want to spend at least a good 20 years in the forest. Just
20? No, they want to spend at least 100. Like, man, I'm
gonna spend 100 years in the forest with the forest nymphs. You know what I'm saying? Drinking the sweet nectar.
Just run through and just run havoc across the countryside.
I mean, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that throws everything off.
Yeah, okay. But Yes, the 80-year-old and a 60-year-old. Like,
Yeah.
it's like if the 80-year-old still has all of their faculties about themselves, right? Like,
Mhm.
is that a potentially a unethical or immoral relationship? Is there a high probability of predator predation happening?
If you ask me, I think if you include marriage at that with a 60-year-old and 80-year-old, that is predatory. The 60-year-old is preying on the 80-year-old. And here's why I say that so
Mhm.
definitively. I say that because just like life insurance, you never you insure on the risk of you insure on the lower age person because there's a less risk of them dying. You want to insure on less risk, not more risk, because that's a fool's game. You're going to lose that. You're going to lose that every time.
Mhm.
So there's a high chance that the 80-year-old is going to die sooner than that 60-year-old. So
Yes.
therefore, that 60-year-old, their game is it's an easy win. As long as I find an 80-year-old, I know they're going to die sometime soon.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, if I marry them, then I'm preying on them. If Well, okay, hold on. I'm not gonna finish because I'm contradicting myself. I'm contradicting my statement from earlier.
Okay. Yeah. See,
I'm not.
there's a young person without the
I am
money.
not
I
contradicting.
was gonna let you walk on.
Wait a
Just
second.
keep walking
Wait a
on
second.
down that pathway.
In that aspect, it's easy because an 80-year-old is sure to die sometime. They got maybe, if they're lucky, 20 more good years.
I mean, on
Maybe.
their
That's all.
honeymoon, they could just be like going crazy, and the 60-year-old has the heart attack and dies.
But again, that's if you get married though. I think if you didn't include marriage, everybody's gravy, baby. It's easy
So, hmm.
because marriage becomes more legally bound, and a lot of stuff gets complicated with that. Even if you didn't do the policies and stuff, you're automatically obligated to a lot of things.
So then, would you say at a certain age, just like, why are you even getting married? Like, do
Yes,
you think there's a age where it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, just stay together and just ride it on out.
yes, I would say yes, depending on the assets. Because if you're 80 years old, and you have nothing, then it doesn't matter. But if you're 80 years old and you're worth $1 billion in assets,
Well,
anybody you marry is going to
if
be.
you have nothing, then why even do that? I mean, it's a is it just an empty symbolic gesture or
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, some people take it seriously, man. You marriage, you're one in God's eyes, and you go to heaven, and you have
but
1,000 virgins or something. I don't know.
I mean at a certain age though, like let's just say like they were both widowed. Like, is there an age where you're just like, look, you're 60, she's 60, just live in the same house together. Like nobody's sweating it that y'all aren't married. Like, oh, okay.
I think that's the way it should be done, if you ask me. I mean, that's just me speaking off the top of my head. I don't. I mean, every situation is different, but I don't see what the point is at that point unless it is a symbolic show of love.
Mm.
That's the only because you've already went so many years without that person, and to bring them in now and marry them is like, well, we might have another good 10 years together. I mean, I mean, like I know I'm killing people off here, but I mean, this is reality though. But
It is. It is. These are the interesting stuff. I think I'm almost in the same camp as you. So that's why I'm been thinking like, yeah, like at this point, it's like one, y'all can't raise a family together,
it's
which is
done.
yeah, which is one of the key institutions for promoting families is marriage.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, all right, that's one thing. Two, more than likely in each scenario, he has his own set of kids from previous relationships. She has her own set of kids from a previous relationship. And now y'all are legally commingling all of your assets and stuff together. That makes everything a lot more difficult with your children that are both of no relations to either camp.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just making more things a legal hassle and a legal, rumble royale for the untimely demise of either, woman or man. If it was the 60-year-old man and he passes, his wife now by default gets, control over all the things. Do you think she's going to, like, in general, because there's always exceptions, but I think in general, humans are more prone to be, to look out for their own best interests.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very much more self-preserving. It's like, whoa, me first before you. Like, if I get a chance to get on a life preserve boat and it's between like you and one other guy, it's like, why not me then? I don't know who that guy is. Forget him.
Yeah.
I want that seat. So again, your husband passes away and he's leaving behind $200,000, and you're like, that would be good for my children. I mean, I know my husband has children, but they're not my children.
Mm-hmm.
So I got access to his funds now because we're married. Or the man, same thing. The wife, she passes. Those are her children. They're not my children. So I think that's why I would say it's not favorable at all. Like, just stay together. If you want to have something symbolic, just marry in symbolic fashion.
Mm-hmm.
About
all the contracts and the state
mm-hmm.
papers and all that stuff and everything. Yeah.
I mean, because look, whenever you go out in public and meet someone and they have a ring on their finger and they say, "Oh yeah, that's my wife," I have never at all like been like, "Oh, is that really your wife?"
I need to see the papers.
Yeah, exactly. I've never at all have just been like, "You sure y'all married? Like, where's your papers at? When did y'all get married? Where did y'all get married at?" No one. I've never heard a conversation of anyone other than like maybe in tabloids, probably. But yeah, in real life, day-to-day situations, I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, where'd y'all get married? When'd you get?" Like, no one's ever grilled some, like, you just pop up with a ring on your finger and they're like, "Oh snap, you got married? What?"
Let me ask you this. That's actually a great point. Do you think if that was a thing, if people got married without the legal obligation with the state and the certificates and all that stuff, do you think more people would do it? Or do you think it would just be more of a joke at that point? If people like, hey, I want to marry, still do everything the same, go to the church and do all the stuff, and you wear the ring, you still claim them, but when it comes to doing your taxes and like all the other stuff, obviously you're not legally married, so that doesn't go through. You're still separate when the state looks at it, but in all other aspects of a relationship, you're married. The cheating still there, all that kind of stuff, And
you said, would I think more people would want to do that?
Yeah. Do you think people would do like? Because there's a stigma of like men, especially in these days, is like they don't take it as serious because we have more to lose.
Yeah, they have more to lose. Yeah, but I think also the society is less religious as well. So I think a lot of marriage had a more religious component to it too. Not to say that everyone that's get married are of some type of religious belief, but I'd say a majority, either they are rooted in a religious belief, like, oh yeah, I used to, loosely practice Catholicism. I'm not devout Catholic, but I did want to get married in front of, the church and God. Or, yeah, I'm, not a devout uh Muslim or Christian. You plug in whatever religious belief system. Even if they're not devoutly practicing it, they do hold it in some type of high regard, and so they do it in regard to that religion, in regard to that faith.
Okay.
Now, with society being less religious, and with a lot of the divorce statistics, the high divorce rate, and the stats with, women filing 70% of the time, and then 80% of the time if they have a bachelor's degree, and then it goes up higher if they have a higher form of education. The higher the degree status, like the higher the probability of divorce goes up. And then whether they're religious or not religious, that also increase. Like, why do that to yourself?
That's kind of an ill omen. It's like the more a woman has to her, the more the chance of divorce. It's kind of dark, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Is there something to say about men? Is there something with men, like the more education he has, the more divorce or something like that too?
I don't know if they've actually drawn any of that out of the statistics or the data yet. I would be interested if they did.
See, that's where I'm kind of like, I feel like some guys are out there just to get women, man. It's like you got to bring it. You got to turn the barrel around. You got to turn it back around sometimes.
Well, I think they have, in some aspects of it, like when they do the testosterone levels of men today versus the testosterone of men, several decades ago. And they say like the testosterone levels of men back in those days were higher. And, men now have lower base testosterone levels. So there is some studies that show that, and that, men of this age are more feminized. And of course, if you ever start to like, unfortunately find yourself into the female side of relationship content, how they're always constantly talking about men ain't men no more, men don't pursue no more, men don't do X, Y, and Z, or hold doors, or chivalry is dead, and all of these other things. And it's like, like men don't know how to, change a tire no more. They can't fix stuff no more. It's like, wow, really? Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. That is it has really become that, and the 2020s is very much, I guess it's called the red pill. Definitely a manosphere red pill kind of thing going on. It's different content than what I'm used to watching and listening to from like 7 years ago. It used to be movie reviews and video game reviews and stuff like that. Now there's a lot of. I watched a video today with this girl. I guess she has a channel. She had a lot of views. She had over 300,000 views. She was talking about one time, like 7 minutes in heaven or whatever. In the closet.
Yeah.
She was talking about some wild time where she was in a closet with another guy and girl, and they were like doing some stuff. And I was like, is this what we're doing now? Like, we're just on YouTube talking about our wild escapades? And she was like, yeah, back when I was younger. She must have been in her 20s herself. So, like, what are we talking about? Like her teens or something? I don't know. It's like this is what the content is like now. Maybe that's my algorithm too. Maybe I'm clicking on something that's bringing me up to that. But I was just like, what am I watching? Like, when did it become this? When did people start doing this?
No, I mean it's wild when you. I'm gonna tell you what's really wild. It's really wild when you're listening to those story times now. That's
Yeah.
like trending all over TikTok because everyone's trying to get like go viral. And
Right.
so they are releasing things that you should never like. It would take like an ultimate level of torturing that you should be divulging this information,
Exactly.
and they are willingly divulging it just for a chance to like go viral. And it's like, there's no way anyone in their right mind should be uttering that they had a train ran on them in middle school. Like, why are we? I can see you realize I can see your face, ma'am. Like I can see you.
Yeah.
Like if I
That's
know
wild.
who you are, if you are someone that I know, I now know this about you. Like,
yeah.
and you just told me for what now? Like for clout?
Yeah, and it's like people on the it's the internet, they don't mind dogging you out and talking junk about you, and they'll remember you. They'll find you. Like on
They'll
Kendra, they'll find you.
you. They will
And
find.
yeah,
And,
man.
and it's like you don't care about your image at all. Like forget, the good publicity, bad publicity, all good publicity. I mean, all bad all publicity is good publicity. It's like, look, you are just a regular person living a regular life. Like, why are you giving up this? It's going to make great content for the actual content creators that are out there, but for you, it might not turn out too well for you.
Yeah.
Like any potential suitors have now all relegated you to fun only. Like you instantly removed yourself from any type of viable people of substance. Like I shouldn't know that. Like, matter of fact, me and my wife, we were watching this guy who he was chronicalizing his escapades going through Japan. He went to Japan and he went under the false assumption that they were wanting foreign men and black men in particular to come over and impregnate the women.
Oh, okay.
And so his entire trip was all focused around random encounters with Japanese women and just running off in them. And so day one, he would get on the dating app. He'd get on like Tinder or Bumble or whatever their equivalent of it is there.
Yeah.
And he would meet up with some random local, and then he would bust them down. And then day two, he chronicalized his adventure on busting down another one. And then day three, he said, "Oh, I feel kind of funny from day two. My junk kind of felt a little strange." And I'm like, why are we on the internet? Someone please take away this man's internet.
Oh man.
And lo and behold, I think day 5 he goes and gets tested, and he had
chlamydia
and he had gonorrhea. Yeah.
Yo, I knew exactly what you were talking about as soon as you started talking about the girl that he caught something, because I haven't watched it yet, but one of my main subscriptions I listen to and I watch, all I saw was the thumbnail and the title. It said "Passport Bro messes up or something, and he messes up trying being a passport bro, and it said chlamydia on it. It was like a black dude. He has like dreads or something.
With twist.
Like,
Yes,
twist.
that's him.
And
Him.
all I saw was the thumbnail, and that was it. And I was like, oh man, I gotta watch that one. But see, now I'm part of the problem because I was like, I gotta watch that at some point. And it's just so funny that it's what's in my circle is coming to your circle, and that y'all have watched it, and you're talking about it to me here. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I didn't know it was Japan and stuff though.
Mm-hmm.
He got chlamydia, and he's on the internet bragging about it.
Not just chlamydia. He had chlamydia and gonorrhea.
Isn't it like that's like a super STD? Like, doesn't it combine and become like one super STD or something?
Yo, it's gonna turn into Voltron, and then like
goodness grief,
chlamydia,
man.
syphilis, gonorrhea.
Yeah, that would be a good animation. Actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty bad, man.
It was what, and I'm like, he putting his face attached to this nonsense. Like, then he was getting upset because he was showing some of the girls, or he was showing some of the locations, but then his viewers were like outing them, like they were going and finding the girls and sending his video to the girls, and he's like putting blurs over the girls' faces later. He's like, look, like, and he was saying it like he was surprised. Like, why would you be surprised that the internet is interneting? Like, that's just what they do. They will find where you've been because there will be key things going on in the background. It's like, oh, I know that place. Oh, hold on. Is that the same girl from the first video? That she's got the same hairstyle. And then they go and find these girls, and then they're like, that's her. And then they sent the video of him like going around doing stuff, because he was like trying to like take like sneaky pictures of them. And like he was doing things like if they brought him back to their room, he would take like quick like 2-second video or quick snapshots of the room showing like just evidence like, hey, I am in a girl's room. Like,
yeah.
So when I said it went down, it went down.
See, my thing is he was actually going up in them raw?
Yeah,
like,
that was his intent. That was his intent. Yeah.
But doesn't he know of STD? You know what? I asked that question, but then I'm kind of I can't be surprised by people's ignorance. Even with 2024, the internet and all the technology we have, there's still people doing this kind of stuff. So it shouldn't be too surprising.
Nope. No.
Okay, well let's get back to Siobhan. It's been over an hour.
I know, man. We gotta come up with like a method of getting, because we go way off sometimes.
Yeah.
Mary's twice. What's your zodiac sign? Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Okay, what kind of man you looking for? I'm looking for a man that loves God first before any and everything. After that, he'll love himself. I need him to know his own love language and how to be emotionally available, open to conversations, know how to be honest and communicate. Okay. What are your deal breakers? Drunks. People who smoke cigarettes. And Caucasian man. I'm sorry.
Huh? Okay.
Should he look a certain way? Not necessarily, no.
That is right. They're the same age.
Okay. Should he make a certain amount of money? No.
Okay.
No. You don't care about that. Let's do the Kendra Cam.
She can't care about that.
She didn't make no money herself. She got a fanny pack on, bro?
You can see me?
She got to move the stuff out the way.
We can see you. All right, girl.
Oh.
Yes.
I know.
Like a square booty.
So how
Yes.
was your last relationship? It was February of last year. February of last year.
Interesting.
You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask.
When's the last time to
When's the
clap
last
them
time you
cheeks?
was alright?
February of last year.
September, October of last year. Okay.
No relationship.
And, 3 flaws you have to work on. I push people away purposely. Self-sabotage. I have abandonment issues because of the death of my husband. And I think I only really have 2.
No self-awareness.
Yeah, I would just say those.
This is 30.
Okay. And why would a guy be lucky to be with you? I'm loving, I'm caring, I can build up and encourage and love, nurturing, and I am in my feminine energy. She's in her feminine
I can. I love it. I can love you. I can encourage you. I can talk to you. You can't do nothing for nobody that they can't do for themselves.
Nothing at all.
Right?
Nothing.
Like-
Like, look, ma'am, anyone can get a pet. Really, like
That's what
I
she.
can-
It sounds like she needs is a dog.
I can cuddle with you. I can walk you. I can feed you. Ma'am, that's a dog. You just get a pet. Just get a pet.
Oh,
I can cuddle with you. I can pet you. I can feed you. I can water your bowl.
oh, it's kind of sad. And I hear. I mean, she seems sweet. She seems nice and sweet and everything. She doesn't seem like the ratchet, like the super ratchet kind.
Again, I think life does that to people sometimes. And I
Yeah.
think it happens well too late. What I realized, like growing up, so I knew I was not built for the player lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
because I literally thought that you needed to be girls' friends first. Like I thought that was the natural progression of things: is
Mhm.
be the friend and then grow into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But in that time frame, I realized older women really liked me a lot. Really liked me a lot. And what older women and bigger women, plus size women, really liked me a lot.
Mm.
And I started to realize a couple of things. One was they liked the fact that I seemed to be very nice. And that is something at that point in time, older women, they are wanting the nice guys, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, how did you get to that point? Usually, not always, right? You can't say all. This
Mhm.
isn't the all police. But most of the time, it's because they have gone through so many of the negative experiences that now
Mhm.
they want the nice thing. Yeah.
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 That's. And you know what is funny to me is I think they realize it to a degree, but they don't realize it. And I think a lot from my experience, I've always felt like you could see it from a mile away. It's like, yo, especially when you're younger, like in your 20s or something, it's like you're dealing with this guy who's obviously not gonna last long with you. It might last a good while, or it might be really great right now, and it doesn't seem like it, but you can see the discernible traits that says that this is not going to be a long-lasting relationship. The wildness, it's the wildness. If they can't tame the wildness of the lifestyle or whatever, then it's just not stable. And I think that's a safe thing, right? It's like you're the safe guy, you're the friend, and all this kind of stuff. So it's always the guy who's a little bit more chaotic, and he's the bad boy, and
Yeah.
the wild stuff and everything is so fun. It's so interesting. He just brings this side of me out that no one can do and all this kind of stuff. And then once you go through all the stuff or whatever, the ones that realize it's like, I want something a little bit more stable, a little bit better. And if he doesn't become that, then of course it breaks up. But then it's like, oh, you were stable the whole time. You're the nice guy that was always there. Why didn't I see you before? Or I want something of that. Because at the end of the day, everybody, again, it goes back to the I feel like it goes back to the primordial things that everybody wants.
Everybody wants to feel like they got a good deal. Nobody wants to feel like, oh, I'm getting the raw end of this deal. Like, Rose, you spending how much money on her? You paying for her bills, you paying for that, and you about to get married, and she ain't giving you nothing, no play. You getting zero play. And then he's like, yeah, but she said once we get married, that's when she's willing to give it up. Bro, she's got 2 kids. She's got 2 kids.
Oh, I can't. I can't with that.
She's saving it for marriage, and she's got 2 kids, and you doing all of this for her. You getting a horrible deal. You getting a horrible deal.
And then that's where, without jumping back into this hole again, that's where it goes back to the guy wanting a younger female. That's why the age gap, or the younger female and the older guy is always. It's always been kind of the case, because it's like she still has a fertility that she can offer to him, because if she were older, that fertility and everything is kind of worn down for the younger guy, Yeah,
I mean, and everybody wants to feel like they got a good catch.
Yeah.
Like, as a woman, she wants to feel like she's got a good catch. Like, oh, he might not be, ultra wealthy, but he treats me well. He's a great, fiance. He's a great boyfriend, a great husband, or a great father. He works. He might not, do anything exciting, but he, he's a fighter, or he's a police, or he's in the military. Like, he's doing something that stand up type of job. Like, I can be proud of him. Same with a guy. She might not be, on the cover of a model magazine, but she's very beautiful. She's very cute. She's very smart. I can talk to her. She has a good sense of humor. She gets my my jokes, or my wittiness, or my lack of wit. She's cool with that kind of stuff. Like, both people feel like they got a catch. Great. Nobody feels like they got slighted. Like, man, you didn't tell me that you had 5 children when we started talking, or you didn't tell me that you were divorced 3 times, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Aye.
Now, okay, what's the age range you want to date? Or how old are you? 44. What's the age range you want to date?
I'm trying to get out of trying to say a certain age. So it's more for like your mental, your headspace. But I was starting maybe 33 up to about 55, maybe 56.
Okay. And
33?
in Michigan.
She's 44.
I wanted to, but it's not necessary.
Not necessary. All right, how can the guy reach up? So we got 5. She has 20 miles to 20.
Just a young buck.
33 to 56, I think she said.
She's going from the young, vibrant backbreaker to the man that got the bread.
Yo.
Either direction. She's like, look, either I'm going to get some great action, or I'm going to get a man with a pension.
Okay. I'm trying to see what the comments are saying in this. See, sex isn't bad because it's actual exercise. No. Female said that they are in their feminine energy, just finished Hot Girl Summer 304th life.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up. You ain't no prize. Probably just smoke weed every day. All day. That's pretty good. Is she ill? She has on groove. Isn't her. What? She has on a groove is in the heart shirt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She has a colostomy port.
Golly.
Oh.
Wow.
Yo, I didn't even put that together. That's because remember I said the bag. I was like, why does she have the fanny pack?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Exactly. Yo,
'Cause I'm like, that's
man.
kind of random too. Like when you said she's got a fanny pack on, I'm just like, yeah, she's just kind of weird. Like if I had a fanny pack on, one, I wouldn't have a fanny pack on, but two, I would take it off to get up and do the Kendra Cam spin. Now it would make sense why, if you're getting up and you had this on you, why you would not take it off.
Right.
Mm.
Oh man, that
changes a lot of things too.
that changes a lot of things. Let me okay, hold on a second. This is 138.01. I'm gonna go all the way back to when she stood up and stuff.
And did the Kendra Cam. Okay.
Right about there. So it was only 2 minutes ago.
Okay. You can see me?
All right, we can see you. All right.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
Yep.
Yo, he called it.
Mm.
She didn't mention that at all.
I mean, why would you? Right? Because automatically you would know that that's gonna immediately take you off the table from a lot of people. I would go out to venture to say most. Hmm?
Yeah, I mean, of course, this isn't like a new thing. A lot of people have this
Mm-hmm.
condition.
Mhm.
Uncle Curtis, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But the fanny pack, which I thought with the fanny pack was actually covering it, but this is actually the port itself.
Yeah.
But that would explain a little bit more of her sickness. Because she said it was a heart thing.
She said she had a weak heart. Yeah.
I wonder if that still has to do with the colostomy.
Yeah,
Colostomy
colostomy bag. So I don't think so.
port.
But that does not mean she doesn't have compounding
Right.
health issues. Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean, 'cause now it's all, you need somebody to take care of you. I
mm,
mean, okay, let me stop. I don't want nobody to come after me. Not necessarily, but it is a whole nother slew of factors that come into your health.
mm,
And that would kind of change how you would approach dating her for sure.
Okay, you got a body, girl. Look at that booty when you turn, girl.
I know.
Oh.
February of last
Let me get back to the point right here.
Unfortunately, her last husband passed away. She's 44, currently unemployed because she's dealing with a heart condition. How can the guy reach out to you, honey?
I can be reached on Facebook, Siobhan Wallington. I can be reached on Instagram as MSW713 and a Snapchat. I'm not sure, so just those two.
Okay. Well, listen, it's Cash App Day. A lot of my cousins want your Cash App.
Here it
They
is.
want to send you a Cash App blessing. So, what's your Cash App, girl?
Oh my God.
Unemployed, 44, unemployed, ratchet looking, and wants a man. Pookies, you're up. That's so fucked up.
It's not. Oh, I appreciate
Cleanliness.
every last one of you. Can you look at me?
What is she doing?
The last
I don't know.
What is she doing in the background? What is
This
he
is
doing?
becoming a hot mess.
So much. You have no idea. Even though I'm looking for
She
love,
walk around in the.
I've been through so much lately, but I stay positive.
This show is gonna be
And know that God is blessing me
so bad.
just as He
Like,
is.
because guess what now?
I appreciate
What do you think some of these people are gonna show up on the show with?
Oh, they're gonna disabled people gonna show up on the show to get their handouts.
To get there, yep. And to tell their sob stories. Yep, this is what the show's gonna
dude.
exactly. This is what's gonna happen. They're gonna get on and then they're gonna start talking about whatever mental or medical problems they got. Oh, you know, and Kendra, it's just so hard out here to date because I just lost my job due to COVID, and I got into a a tree just fell out of the sky and crushed my car, and you know I got stung by a bee, and I just found out at 33 I'm allergic to bees, and
Oh man.
you know, like it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be all the way bad.
You know what? I like this little. I saw this. This is pretty cool. This little animation here. It's giving me some ideas. But right here it says, now y'all know if you have a touching story, your cash out will be asked for.
Yep. Yep.
Lady needs a heart, cousins won't send money. Man needs a date, cousins send money. And panhandler, Kendra say y'all got money. I need one too. I have been unemployed since December 1st, 2023. May I have some blessings sent my way? Thank you in advance.
That's again exactly.
Exactly.
That's what's gonna happen.
It's becoming the charity show, not the dating show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me just show up and then let me tell my story.
You know what? Why should you even go out on the curb? Because I'm sure y'all have it where you're at too, where you go to the end of the curb in the city and there's like homeless people, professional homeless people. They got this sign out, same dudes every day. They actually switch blocks. Hey man, I'm gonna get that block over. I'm gonna get that block over there. And they panhandling for money. Look like another person like you and I just went and got a jacket, a dirty jacket. Why do that? Well, you can come on the Kendra show and just ask for some money.
Yep. Just
know?
come on there. Just come on there, show up, you know, and tell her whatever little story you need to tell so that it touches Kendra. Nobody's gonna vet your stories. Right?
How can you just do it from your home, look sad, and go from there?
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Nobody fact checking. Nobody fact checking. SWV.
MRZ.
Oscar Performance.
CWB. Yeah.
This is it's so whack, bro. I hate
Yeah,
it.
I hate that too.
This is Cash App Simp Night. Y'all getting mad about them Cash Apps. Let people get blessed.
Okay.
It's so whack.
Okay. Oh, she put it out there. All right. I'm gonna send you something too. I'm not gonna share the amount with everybody. I just sent you a Cash App as well. And for everybody else that wants to send her a Cash App for all this you're going to, we're praying that you get this heart surgery. We're praying that
she out here doing the Lord's work.
And we want to pray that you get a man too, girl.
Yes, please.
Swing low. Sweet Jerry.
Oh my goodness. This is so bad. This is so bad. It was bad the last time she did it. It's just as bad now.
Oh man. Red flag. Heart, is that your LVAD in the pouch? God bless you, Sack sister.
Or 10. All right, boo. Well, listen, you keep me posted how it goes, honey.
Thank you all.
Get a man. You're looking for a man.
Bye. Bye,
The sister.
Nice to
Mm.
meet you.
Good luck,
All right,
sis.
you guys, that's it.
Scam likely.
I might do TikTok Tuesday if I have time, so.
Kendra.
I know.
You gotta love Kendra. You gotta love it for what she's trying. You know, she's got a good heart. You know, you can't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Help you find love. Put some money in your pocket too. Why not? You know, it's just. Well, all right. Well, I tell you what. Next time we gotta. I mean, these are fun. I mean, I like doing these, but we can also do some pop the balloons. Those are good too. There's some really good pop the balloons out there too.
Okay.
Are you and your wife watching pop the balloons as
Yes, most definitely. Those are entertaining and funny as well.
Are you watching the Arlette ones or the T Pendles?
The Arlette ones. Yeah, I know there's like a couple of different cities or spinoffs or whatever, or you know, people biting it or whatever. So yeah, a lot of those are kind of dumb.
Yeah, right.
In my opinion, I like the Arlette ones.
So she just put one out recently. I think she puts them out every Wednesday or something like that. When she does, she did a pop the balloon blind date. Have you seen that one? Oh, well, I'll tell you what. You want to start some of it, and maybe we do a little bit, and we can finish it off another time, or you want to just start it next time or something?
Yeah, next time.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, we can wrap this up. So tonight, we finished up talking about Overlord, and we finished up this with Kendra G. Talked about some relationship stuff, age differences with male, female, and all that. Very, very cool topics. Very cool information. I think if you go back and watch the video, you'll see. Oh, we got some comments. Dang, I missed the comments. Marvin, BBB. Hab, HAB. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Marvin, but I appreciate it. So yeah, next time we'll throw on maybe a pop the balloon Arlette or something like that. I'll tell you next weekend I'm actually going to be. I'll probably be out of town. I might be visiting the parents. I'm gonna try to go see grandma too. Just to let you know. I'm sure you know some of the stuff that's going on with that probably. But yeah, so I'll be around those parts. If we do get on, maybe let's do it. I'll probably be on the phone or something like that. That'll be the way I'll have to jump on. So I won't be able to pull up any video.
Okay.
Do you have the capability to probably pull it up or something? Or
yeah, but I don't know if it'll allow me if you're or wait, how would I be able to do? We'll talk it out and figure out because would I have to be the lead streamer?
Yeah. You just start your StreamYard. You can do it for free. That's what I'm doing right now. As long as you can stream on your account with YouTube, then you should be able to start it up and send me an invite. You'll text it to me, and then I'll just jump in. So, but yeah, we'll hammer out the details later on though.
Okay, cool.
All right, man. Well, cool. This was a great stream, and y'all stay tuned for some more live illustration later on Monday at 7:00 p.m. and Wednesday also at 7:00 p.m. I should be doing it then. Anything you want to plug or tag?
No, not at the moment. No. Just do anime shorts, closeted anime, and just highlighting a lot of the possibly hidden gem animes, more short form content.
Roger that. All right, man. It's good to see you again. I'll talk to you next time.
All right. Talk to you next time.